Well, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone had a great weekend. And I'm not the actual show this morning. The dog is on the way. But I am going to share a few things. We've shown the video before. We don't have it for this morning about the High Performance Leadership Academy. And we wanted to recognize some new graduates from the program. And so we thought we would do that this morning. If you don't recall, the High Performance Leadership Academy is a program of the National Association of Counties, and it's a 12-week completely online course, which really focuses on developing talent at the county level and really preparing folks to not only lead themselves, but to lead others. And the curriculum is very robust. It was developed by the Professional Development Academy in partnership with Fortune 1000 executives, public sector leaders, and world-renowned academics and thought leaders, including General Colin Powell. So what I'm going to do, we have 5 graduates that span the entire year, and a couple we've already recognized from 2023, but we have more graduates for this year. And the dog is here, so we're going to make this quick so that you all can hear from Juvenile. But I would like to invite each graduate just to say maybe a sentence or two about what they liked about the program. Okay. The first is the cybersecurity network. Well, let me get the certificates here. Our first is Mark Peck, who is our cybersecurity network engineer, who graduated from the Enterprise Cybersecurity Leadership and earned a master's certificate in the HPLA. So I'll invite Mark to come up. Is he here? He's not here. Well, let's give him a hand anyway. And secondly is Jonah Wright. Did I see Jonah here? Okay, well. I know that Brent is here. Brent Johnson, our county assessor. Come on up.
Speak for all the people that
Congratulations.
Are
yeah.
On behalf of Mark and the ones who weren't here, the course itself was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. It was kind of fitting because I'm still new to the office. So a lot of things that we're facing in the office, the course covered, which is really great. So it was a great opportunity, and I really appreciate the opportunity to take it. Thank you.
Thanks, Brent. All right. And next, also graduating in April with Brent was Larry Woods. Congratulations.
Fans are here, as you can see.
Go ahead.
I think this was a phenomenal opportunity. The ability for us to build a network with all different manner of folks from counties from all over the country was great. I actually had a county clerk from, I think, up in Cedar County that was in my group. That was great, as well as some emergency managers from other areas of the country. So just that ability to network and to see that our problems aren't necessarily unique just to us. They happen all over the country. So it was just a very good experience.
Good deal. Thank you. And last but not least is our IT manager, Joshua Helms, who's here. And he also received the master's certificate for enterprise in cybersecurity leadership. Congratulations. You're welcome to say a sentence or two about what you enjoyed the most.
No speech from me, guys. Larry hit it all. It was a great opportunity, and I certainly appreciate it.
Good deal. Thank you all very much. We will be keeping an eye on future opportunities. I don't know that we will proceed with the fall class as we had originally planned, just as we kind of look at our budget issues and some of the challenges that Jeff has shared with us. But we're excited to offer this again. We just know it will be in the future at some point, hopefully 2024 or 2025. And we would encourage you to participate in it if you have the opportunity. And then also, kind of right along with that is our Greene County Leadership Academy. So thanks very much. And I'll turn it over to our real show, Duo Dog Derby and Juvenile.
Well, good morning, everybody. I think most of you know me. For those of you who don't, I'm Bill Prince. I'm over at the Juvenile office. And this is Danielle Tomasi. She, I just have to say a few words about her. She is our detention superintendent and does just an exceptional job over there, keeping the lid on that place. So I would say it's, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, as unaccustomed as I am to public speaking. Anyway, this is Danielle Tomasi. She does a great job over at our detention, keeping the lid on that place. It is a tough job for sure. But we wanted to talk a little bit today about our friend Derby over here. Derby comes to us from St. Louis Duo Dogs, and Derby's story is sort of, I guess, long in coming. Derby's a pre-pandemic idea. If you've ever looked at our mission statement, one of the things in our mission statement is we want to have a trauma-informed office. And trauma-informed means, a lot of things. It means recognizing that the people who come to us to receive services come carrying, trunks full of trauma. The folks who work at our office dealing with those folks suffer from secondary or vicarious trauma. And one of the things we talked about, and this was 2019, I think, or 2020, right before the pandemic hit, was looking at getting a therapy dog or a facility dog. And so we contacted Duo, who is out of St. Louis. If any of you are St. Louis Blues fans, Barkley, who is their mascot, is a Duo dog that runs around the arena during hockey games. But we made application. I think perhaps adopting a child might be easier than getting one of these facility dogs. It was a very rigorous process, and we had originally selected 3 handlers to deal with Derby. Right now we have 2 left. We have Danielle and then Ashley Armstrong, who is our family treatment court coordinator, and she couldn't be here today. But I thought what I would do is have Danielle maybe tell you a little bit about the process that they had to go through to get certified as handlers, and some of the things that Derby does on a daily basis for us. He's been a game changer for sure, both for our families and our staff. So Danielle, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want to bring Mr. Derby up here.
Consider those folks seeing
Thanks, Bubba. All right, so this is Derby. So as Bill said, pre-pandemic, we started this process, and so they started training Derby up in St. Louis. They start with a puppy raiser, so they're in a home, and they start there. And then he actually went to a prison in the Illinois side of St. Louis and spent about 18 months there.
They let him out for good behavior.
They did. So what's really helpful for us is he's fine with slamming doors and people being really loud and all that kind of stuff. He just basically does this. He doesn't really care. He just lays down and goes, all right, cool. Somebody's being loud. And so they worked with him on all the service commands. So he can do everything the service dog does. He can open cabinets. He can retrieve things. He can do all kinds of stuff. They actually originally planned on him being with a smaller child in a wheelchair. But then something happened with that child, and they determined that he was probably a better fit for us. So they trained him for 3 years because of the pandemic. Normally it's 2, but they trained him for 3 years. And then our handling team had to go to St. Louis for a week. Bill's correct. The process is a lot worse than adopting a child. I am a foster parent, and I did way more to get him than I do for my foster care license. The background checks were more, the home inspections were more, the training was more, the 72-page contract was more. But we went and spent a week with the trainers there. And so we learned everything that he does. He had to learn to respond to us. So you guys can try to call him. You guys can try to do things with him, and he won't do it. He will only respond to Ashley and I, which is very helpful for when other people are trying to call him and do things. Mainly, he does this. I know that seems like not a whole lot, but it's helpful in court. With Ashley, mainly, he goes to court with the family treatment court people. And it's really helpful when they're sitting in court and really are intimidated and don't know what's coming next, that sort of thing. They can just reach over and pet him and it calms them down. With my kids in detention, we can throw a ball in our day room and it's just a little bit of stress relief. I've had kids who have been, one of my favorite stories with him have been suicidal. And they can't do any sort of future planning. They get really stuck in I'm just not going to make it till tomorrow. But if I give them a job with Derby, hey, he needs to be brushed every day. Can you brush him tomorrow? I just don't have time tomorrow. Yeah, I'll brush him tomorrow, but I don't know if I can do it every day. Cool. Well, tomorrow I'm going to bring the brush in. So can you brush him tomorrow? Yeah, I'll brush him tomorrow. And so we would make that plan every day for them to brush the dog. And then they just would kind of love on the dog. And that would get them through a little bit every time. And then we did it with one kid, we did it where I was like, man, I haven't had Derby that long and I haven't seen him play in the snow. And it's supposed to snow this weekend. You might be able to see him play in the snow. Okay, yeah, if it snows this weekend, I want to see him play in the snow. So I got like a few more days out of just, okay, he could see a little bit more future planning. And so sometimes the dog gives them something else to focus on versus they're in detention and they don't see any hope. And so we use him for those sort of things. Honestly, staff gets just as much out of him than the kids do. I need a few minutes with Derby, and they'll come and pet him, or I have all kinds of toys, and they'll throw him up and down the hallway, and he gets to play, and he gets to do a lot of stuff, and he really enjoys it. But this is what he does most of his day, and this is what he's happy doing. So that's kind of what we do with him.
We were really lucky. Derby comes to us with $40,000 of
Plus.
training, plus of training is what goes into training these guys. And he was given to us. I think he's still technically owned by Duo with a right of reverter. That's a legal term that he can come back in the event that we are not dealing with him properly. And that includes all kinds of things like he cannot gain more than 1 or 2 pounds over.
Yeah, we just did his recertification last week. So he is recertified. We are good for another year. In that certification, I have to send in that he's still doing all of his same commands, that he, I have to brush his teeth every day. I have to trim his nails every week. He has to be groomed every month. There's all kinds of things. But they still check on that. He is 4 years old. We had his birthday party in May. He can work until he's 10, and then he has to retire. At 8, we can put in for a new one. And so then they will start training another one to kind of take over for him.
I think if he retires, he goes to the handlers, doesn't he? Yeah. So it's not like he's going to be taken to a stranger. But the thing that he's made me realize is that, the environment that we're in every day, which is a detention center, a courtroom, a juvenile office, those are incredibly familiar spaces to us. And, we don't think a thing about it, because we know those doors are going to open when we want to get out. We know that, the judge is not a scary person and all of that kind of stuff. But for the folks that are coming to see us who are not regularly there, he has been just an incredible benefit. We've had, litigants in court and kids and parents, say, man, without that dog in there, I would have just lost my stuff. And again, that's what he does. I mean, he is there to be petted. It's a little different than I think like a therapy dog and things like that, where, generally you see signs on them, don't touch, hands off. But that's his job is to basically be there and, provide comfort. And he does an excellent job at it. So
sometimes he distracts the younger siblings, the kid who got in court, and that's just enough to allow the process to happen without everybody being so distracted in court. And sometimes it's enough to calm down, like during an adoption or during, we've had some kids that have had to come and testify about the abuse that's happened with them. He can sit in the witness box. He just sits there, gets petted, and he thinks everything's great. His whole thought process is everybody's there to love on him. And he'll sit in a therapy session and, just be pet and life is good. He doesn't like to be out of my line of sight, so that sometimes gets a little tricky, but other than that, he just wants everybody to pet him, be happy.
We had to lay a lot of groundwork before he came to see us. We have 100 people that work with us, and while I don't understand it, not everybody likes dogs, and some
Or
people
allergies.
have allergies to them or may have had a bad experience with them at some point in time and are afraid of them. So we had to make sure that bringing a therapy dog in wouldn't cause any undue trauma to any of our staff. But everybody's been great with him, and
Honestly, the one that has the most trauma with dogs has been fine with them. She had the biggest aversion, and she has come to all of his parties and has taken pictures with him and has done the best. And so he's done a really good job at being an ambassador for not all big tough dogs are scary and do well.
so does anybody have any questions about Mr. Derbs?
When you take him home at night, do you have other dogs?
I do. I have 3 other large dogs.
Are they all part of a pack? They are.
He does well. As soon as I take that vest off, he is just a normal dog. In fact, it's quite comical. About 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he starts acting like a regular dog. He starts running up and down hallways. He kind of gets a little more bouncy. Like he knows it's 5 o'clock and he's done. The difference between a facility dog and a therapy dog can work about 2 hours a day. Facility dog can work 40 hours a week. And so he has unlimited PTO. So sometimes if I think we've had a really rough week, he may stay home a day. No big deal. But for the most part, he just comes to work and does everything I do. Sometimes goes on transports.
Yeah. And you might not know it, but he is working now.
Yeah.
So when he has that vest on, he knows that he is at work, and that leads him to certain behaviors and things like that. But again, when the vest is off,
He just
He's
runs
a
around
regular
and
dog,
plays,
yeah.
and he's probably my most hyper dog.
you wouldn't know that either. But
No, runs around crazy, has the zoomies, does all of that. The only thing that he doesn't do at my house, like my dogs get on my couch like nobody's business, and he will wait and be like, "Can I get up on the couch?" So that's about the only thing that he does differently. However, if I go to my parents' house, he doesn't care. It's on the couch. Like he knows it's grandma's.
yes.
Talk about all the requirements to maintain him financially. Takes care of that.
The county does. Yeah, we have a budget item, and we feed him, and he has regularly scheduled veterinarian appointments and things of that nature. So
Yeah, and it's all done through like the contracts that the county has for like the canines.
yeah, he goes to the same vets as the sheriff's canines.
Do they only use certain breeds for duo dogs?
They do. So he's an English lab, and they breed in-house there. English labs. They were doing a
Labs.
doodle,
Yeah,
a mix. So the CAC here in town has a duo dog also, and then Roundtree Elementary has a duo dog also. Roundtree has a lab, and the CAC has one of the doodle mixes. They're not doing the doodle mixes anymore. I'm not entirely sure why, but they're only doing the labs. Kind of wish we had a doodle mix because this thing sheds worse than my other 3 dogs combined. We just call it his love sprinkles and we go on. But they do use the English lab. Part of it is the temperament and that sort of thing. And not all puppies make it into the service dog piece. So he was part of a litter of 8, and 4 of those dogs made it. The other 4 just went into adoptable homes and now living their best pet life. But the ones that make it into the service dog come into duo dog.
And they raise a lot of money by, I think, giving naming rights to
Mhm.
litters. So each litter will have a particular theme. And I
Mhm.
think his theme was horse racing, wasn't it? Was it?
It's really weird. His litter was, so the people that bought this litter did their personal dogs.
Oh, okay.
So somebody who named this litter had a dog named Derby. Then there was the next litter who I thought we were getting did racing, and
That's
so
right.
they had like Mario and Jeff's last name. I don't know, whatever other
Yeah.
car racing people's last names. But that was what they had, and so I actually thought we had that litter, but we had this litter. But you can pay a ton of money to name a litter. So the last litter that they just had, it's like Disney names. So they have like an Elsa, and they have somebody from Shrek, and I don't know, but you can pay a ton to name a litter.
And they're very particular. If we have a media interview or something like that, we have to refer to him as Duo Dog Derby. If we photograph him or have him in a picture that's going to be, that's going to be published somewhere, we have to make sure that the vest is visible. So they're very PR savvy. But again, I mean that they do this. It's free, yeah. So we were more than happy to obey whatever commands they wanted us to do.
Have you ever considered getting one?
I think it would be great. The problem is, well, it's not a problem. If you have people like Danielle and Ashley who are committed to, taking this dog home every night and doing all the things that are necessary, if we had 10 of those people, we'd probably have 5 dogs, but it's a big commitment, on top of their regular job. So, I think it'd be great to have another one, but again, you just have to have the staff who are willing to kind of take that on. And, fortunately we've got Danielle and Ashley who are dog people and are happy to do it.
Yeah, I think we could have more in the county. I think other departments would be fine. And I don't even think that it would have to be for clients. Like, I think we could do it for staff and for other things. But it is a massive commitment.
So I'm thinking, like, when people get their tax bills or have to come in and pay their personal property tax, there might be nice to have a dog sitting there. Sure.
But it really is a massive, that other duties as assigned, it definitely isn't other duty as assigned. Peace.
First of all, kudos to you, because I know it's a big responsibility. And it looks like you do a phenomenal job. You said that he likes you being in the line of sight. If for some reason you were called away for like a family emergency or something, is he comfortable that he stay with Ashley, or how does that work?
So that's another duo requirement, is that he can only stay with Ashley and I, or I technically have to drive him to St. Louis and stay with his puppy raiser. So with foster care, I don't know how comfortable you guys are with foster care. There's things called a respite provider. Again, it is a lot like this. I have got my parents certified as a respite provider here in town. And so he can stay with my parents for short periods of time, like daycare during the day kind of thing, or an overnight thing. But that was only because my parents remodeled their house and had to stay with me for like a week. And so I had to call Duo, have them do background checks on my parents and say they were staying with me for a week. And that allowed them to be qualified to watch him. But because it can only be people that are in your household that can watch him. So we've just sort of skated under the radar for that.
So do you have somebody else like come stay with you just for a short time?
I would have to.
Be background check before they come stay with you?
Yep. Yeah, like I said, it's worse than my foster care list. I mean, I get it, but it is very intensive.
Any other questions? Well, we're done a little bit early, but you are certainly free to come up and say hello
be
because
happy to
yeah,
have all
to
kinds of
meet you and
pets.
yeah, and pet you. So, and if you want to take away a little of his therapy with you, start the day, that'd be great. But no other questions.
Are people gonna
Yeah,
pet you?
are they gonna pet you? Yeah.
You heard that word.
All right. Anything else, Angie? So come meet Derby if you're so inclined.